news, the Caribbean nation of Haiti bracing for the brunt of Tropical Storm Isaac. Right now, the strengthening storm is barreling toward the earthquake-ravaged region, and along with the winds and rain come big concerns over flooding. Let's go straight now to Martin Savage, who's live in Jacmel, Haiti. Martin, are you feeling the storm?
Not yet. You know, it's one of those ironic things. Here we are nervously waiting, as much of Haiti is, standing on the southern coast, which is expected to feel the brunt of Isaac when it comes ashore. But right now, well, you couldn't ask for perhaps a more tranquil night. You've got the surf just gently rolling in, barely a breeze, and there's no rain falling. Skies are cloudy, and rain is threatening, and that's the real problem. We took the drive. It's about 50 kilometers to go from Port-au-Prince, come over the mountains, and then come down here to Jacmel. And the mountains are the real fear for many people here, because that's where the rain's going to hit, and then it's going to come cascading down, and it'll pour into Port-au-Prince, where hundreds of thousands of people are living in 10 cities, still struggling to recover from the earthquake, or it will pour into Jacmel on the other side, where here, too, they took a devastating blow from that earthquake in 2010, and they're trying to recover. They're rebuilding. And in fact, the real tragic irony is much of the rebuilding could cause an even greater flooding problem, as they were trying to fix their storm sewers. Now, when this storm comes, and this place is going to fill up like a sink, according to the mayor. So those are the real concerns. So far, Isaac has not lashed too severely, but the worst is still feared to be offshore. Relitza?
Martin Savage and Jacmel, thank you very much watching the developments there. Well, a second storm, half a world away, roared ashore in southern Taiwan on Friday. The typhoon, packing powerful winds and torrential rains, toppled buses and flooded cities. There are reports of a few injuries. Luckily, many people heeded warnings to evacuate. But there's a chance that the storm could turn back around and hit Taiwan again. It's all because of another powerful storm in the region that's threatening the island of Okinawa. Jenny Harrison, very busy at this hour. She's joining me now from the International Weather Center. Jenny, how interesting that these two storms are really influencing each other.
Absolutely. Well, the one, the other, that's what happens. And in fact, it's called the Fujiwara effect, Relitza. And I'll come on to explain exactly what that is and what is happening. But these are the two storms. So there is Tenbin. That's the one, of course, that made landfall at around 6 a.m. local time in Taiwan Friday morning. And this is Bolivan out towards the east, a huge storm and also a really, really powerful storm. It could actually make super typhoon status in the next few hours. But meanwhile, back in Taiwan, we saw winds gusting to as much as 196 kilometers an hour. That's about 122 miles an hour. And, of course, the rains that came with it. And you can see, obviously, what the rain did. And when you see how much, it is not surprising to see flooding pictures like that. 634 millimetres, that was one of the biggest totals into Chichang, 607, and easily over a quarter of a metre into many other locations. This is the forecast track of Tenbin. And look at this, we don't often see a storm do this, and also still, of course, maintaining a lot of its strength. It's moving into some very warm waters, as, of course, it came offshore. Right now, the wind's 140 kilometres an hour, and we could see some more strengthening as it does this very unusual manoeuvre, and this is why. This is the Fujiwara effect. It's when you have two storms very close together, one significantly stronger and larger than the other. So in this case, it is Bolivan, and they have to be less than 1,500 kilometres apart. And you end up with this central point, and they literally begin to rotate around it. But the biggest storm has a huge influence on the direction of the smaller storm. This is the wind forecast in the next 48 hours. Here is this massive storm. As it begins to move and push towards the northwest, it begins to curl the other storm back towards it. So that is why we're having so much influence from it, and this is what is seeming to determine the direction of Tenbin in the hours ahead. Now, the good thing over the next 48 hours with both storm systems is that the majority of the rain, the really torrential rain, is going to fall over open water. But, of course, the conditions in Okinawa, this is the considerations now with Bolivan heading towards there. Very, very small island, and, of course, you have the tables, the mountains just offshore as well. You have also these low-lying barrier islands. That is a concern for storm surge. And then all the areas along these coastal areas are very low-lying indeed. And on the other side, the western side of the island, this is where you have the huge population, and again, in very, very low-lying areas. So this is the storm. This is the direction it's heading up towards there. Winds have already increased in the last few hours. The 232 kilometres an hour, it could make that super typhoon status. It really is heading towards Okinawa. Look at this as it heads across this region. It is an immense storm, this one, very far-reaching, the winds, and of course the rain also is just going to come down with a vengeance across the entire area. All those low-lying areas, storm surge, all of that a huge concern. So we're going to follow that, Tembin, and of course Tropical Storm Isaac in the hours ahead. Relitza.